Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Madden and I am a traditional artist. Today we're going to be doing a sketchbook tour of Sketchbook 15. This sketchbook lasted me from August 12th through December 4th, and I've really filled almost every nook and cranny of it, and I had a lot of fun in it, so honestly there's nothing more to say. Let's just get into it. Alright, so this is the sketchbook. It's this really gorgeous hand-bound one, and I treated this just like any of my other sketchbooks. It's really fancy, really gorgeous sketchbook, but ultimately, this isn't art, it's a craft, which is to say it's a beautiful object with a purpose, and I think it's a shame not to use things that were meant to be used. But I've used this just as I would any other sketchbook, both in how I filled it and how I moved it around my home and handled it and took it out with me and such. And so the edges have blunted and worn, and it's a little less shimmery than it was when I first started it, but I think it's actually aged really beautifully. So big win for paper cover sketchbooks. So like I said, it lasted me from August through to December 4th, and I did some sketchbook goals. I don't really know if I'm going to keep doing sketchbook goals, to be honest. I really love them in theory, and I think I definitely want to carry it with you as like a goal, because I genuinely do want to do that. But honestly, I don't think writing them down is actually all that helpful for me actually getting around to doing this sort of stuff, right? So I think I'm gonna skip it next time and see what I think, or maybe write the goals down somewhere else and like hang them up where I can see them, because the thing is I'll just open to the blank page and I won't even look at this. I don't flip through my sketchbooks as I'm filling them out unless I'm trying to find a thumbnail for something. So yeah, I don't really know if I'm gonna keep doing that, but we'll go through them this time and see how I did anyway. In order, there's draw more gay stuff. I did that a little bit. Draw the fun stuff. I definitely did a little bit of that, at least a little bit. Do studies, anatomy, color, master. Didn't really do that. Actually finish Mini Small's book. Did not do that. I did actually open it and use it a little bit though, so progress. Carry it with me. I definitely took it with me a couple of times. I didn't really pull it out and use it, but I did carry it with me a handful of times, so progress. Draw from life. Not really. And finish before mid-October. Definitely not. I didn't finish it until December. So I really didn't meet like any of these, and I didn't really think about them until now. Like, I made them, I thought they were great ideas. I still think these are an awesome list of goals for my sketchbook, but I didn't think about them afterwards. So yeah, I don't really know how helpful those were to me. I really love this page I did, this front page. I think he's really cute and it's really fun. It's like a really good balance of like something really, really interesting and exciting for the first page without it being too polished, too, overbearing with like pressure. He's just a happy little guy, So I really, really like him. I think I did okay with this. I'm really annoyed that this isn't centered, like so annoyed. Oh, I meant to like go through and clean up the graphite smudges that are in here, because I know there are some, but I didn't do that, so we're just getting it completely messy. I started this sketchbook off with just a lot of color swatching. I was working on the painting that would come from this thumbnail. This isn't actually the thumbnail. I sketched the painting. I did the sketch for the painting straight on the paper, which I don't normally do, but I did this time. But I drew these because I was gonna try and work through my colors, and I didn't really use them, but I swatched a lot on the paper and really worked through that. These are swatching pencils for this guy, so a combination of both of those. These colors are really nice, actually. These are thumbnail ideas for a painting I have, not a painting, paintings I haven't done yet, but I really want to do because I think they're really, really cool ideas. I really like these. These would be gouache paintings, not watercolor, so I think that's a big part of why I haven't done them yet, because I just don't tend to pull my gouache out all that often, even though I enjoy it a lot. I did a little color wheel, and then I layered it with liquid graphite, going in and in and in to be darker and more muted. So it's one kind of color wheel. Not entirely sure why I did it though. I don't remember. This fell off of a book I was reading, and it wouldn't stay put, so I just stuck it in the sketchbook because I thought it would look nice with this other circle. And this, if you have ladybugs where you live, this was inspired by, you see them in the spring and summer and they're always wandering around like this, getting busy, and it's, I always find it really, really funny because they're just so chunky. It's so awkward looking. So yeah, that's an idea for like a more comical painting I might do in the future. More color mixing, color swatching. I was thinking about making, a palette of custom mixed, super granulating colors, like inspired by opals, so it would have a softer, mistier, more pastel, color story than most of the super granulating palettes you see by places like Schminke and stuff. So there would be a heavy emphasis on like cobalt blue and ultramarine and stuff like that. And I really like these mixes over here. I think they're really, really beautiful. I don't know how well the texture is going to show up on camera, but I think they're very, very pretty mixes. And this is just a list of the various colors I could include in that palette. I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to like buy paints and pre-mix them into super granulating colors, or just have a palette made of really granulating colors that I could mix as I use them, which is probably a lot more practical. I think it's a really interesting idea for a palette. I might revisit that at some point. I do think it would make a very interesting video, to be honest, trying to make like a themed palette. I think that could be a really interesting video idea, but I don't know, you'll have to let me know. I really love some of these color mixes. They're so pretty. Oh my god, that one is so nice. I think that's emerald green and azo green. This is an art show I went to at the Max Grover Gallery. The art was really, really gorgeous, and I actually went to the talk that the artist gave. They gave it in collaboration with the other artist who was in the gallery at the time, and they interviewed each other rather than having someone who worked at the gallery interview them one at a time, and that was a really cool art talk. I don't really know what my goal with that was, but okay. And this was me, yeah, I just did one page of this. I was looking at a graphic novel I own, and I was kind of trying to study how the flow of the page worked, because I was kind of admiring that, and I wanted to like really study it. And it was actually a really fascinating exercise to just copy it down as the most basic of shapes, and then see what they ended up doing underneath all the details that kind of distract you from the flow that's being like built into the comic. Yeah, I really actually really admire how they've had the flow go through their pages. This is, here, I've got it right here, actually. This one. It's a really gorgeous graphic novel, and it's really big, and beautiful end papers, beautiful colors. Something amazing that this person does with their comics is that they'll have the color palette kind of fade from one to another very organically. So You don't really notice that the color palette is changing through the book, but it does, and it's really gorgeous. It's by Katie O'Neill. So that's one of my favorite graphic novels just because of how gorgeous it is. It's very, very skillfully made. It's also a cute story. I think I was just like a tiny bit art blocked here, so I was just kind of forcing myself to make art to get through it. So I just drew some, I think they're called cone flowers, from reference, and I painted them with the Ghibli palette. I threw in some clouds and a bee, really sketchy. Yeah, they're cute. They're not mean anything. I did this guy. It was one of those things where you go back to being like 14 and you just kind of start drawing in one spot with zero plan, and it's like, it's okay, it's fine. The background is just paint from the Ghibli palette. And then I drew him on top with coal erase, and then went over it with pen, and then went over it with colored pencils, and blah blah blah. Doodling some ideas. I think there was like a thunderstorm, and we don't actually get those a lot here, but there was a flash of lightning, and it looked kind of purple. So, I don't know, I was thinking about maybe doing a painting about that. So that's what this and this is, and these are just random ideas that are kind of, yeah. But I like this one, actually. I think this captures it pretty well. And this is just brush pen and watercolor. This was a not waterproof brush pen, so you can see it kind of bleeding into the watercolor a little bit. A page of thumbnails and mushroom studies. I still want to do this idea and this one, actually, although this is the most hideous thumbnail ever. But just sketching lots of different mushrooms, kind of trying to decide which ones I wanted to use for this idea, because he's like cradling a bunch of mushrooms in his hands, and I wasn't really sure which variety I wanted. Honestly, I still haven't decided. I may have decided at the time, but I have since forgotten, so it was very useful. Sketches of some people, just some very loose stuff. I probably meant to come back and make this page a little more interesting, but I forgot about it. I like this one. This is a cool pose. More sketches of people. I think I sketched them in highlighter and then refined it in pen and then went over it again in highlighter to add some flat color or the shadows or whatever, which is why the pen is a little smudgy. I actually really like this effect. I think it's really pretty. I like this page. I need to do more pages like this because they're actually really relaxing and really fun, and they look really good, and they're good for practice, so I should really just do a lot more of this. I have this miniature idea planned. I really want to start it soon. I really wanted to start it in December, but various things just didn't work out, so it has to be postponed, unfortunately. But these were just various ideas for the kind of details and ideas I was interested in. And then I was thinking about other miniatures, so the miniature I want to do does not in fact include fish, but I drew some little fish in there. But this does actually pretty accurately describe the vibe of the little room box I want to make. I was thinking about doing a merman painting. I did do a merman painting, but it wasn't this pose. I still like this pose. I think I want to do it again sometime. I don't know. Maybe I'll pull it out of my back pocket for mermaid or something next year. Who knows? I was taking the gallery walk outfit prompt very, very seriously for the prompt neon. And I was thinking about what I wanted initially. I was like shopping for something, but I could not find something that I liked. I struggled and struggled, or I would find something I liked, but it wouldn't be my size. Blah, blah, blah. So then I was like, what if I sewed some pants or bought some pants that are white and dyed them to be neon? So I was doodling that because I knew I really wanted to wear this shirt. So I couldn't buy a neon shirt. I needed to buy neon pants. And I did actually end up making pants. They were not highlighter yellow, although it would have been awesome. They were highlighter orange, and they're pretty insane, but I actually love them so much. But they were such a stressful nightmare to make because I had to make them in like 3 days. It was awful. This is an idea for a necklace pendant that I'm going to commission a friend to make me. She makes really gorgeous bead earrings, and I wanted like basically a single earring as a pendant for a necklace. And she thought that was a super cool idea, but she's also an incredible oil painter. I'll put her information on screen. This was, I was flipping through my old I Spy books, because, oh my god, totally my entire childhood. And I was like, what if I tried to like encapsulate the vibe a little bit? So I did a lot of things. Some of them are like drawn from the books, and some of them are inspired by the themes of the books. And this was like a very relaxing page. I spent so long on this though, and these were all just... No, I did sketch them actually. I thought I hadn't sketched them. I think some of them are just drawn straight in pen. Like, I really don't think I sketched this paperclip or this dragonfly or anything. And then I lined it all in a like olive green pen and colored it in with rainbow pencils. And I did some other stuff to like break it up and make it a little less monotonous. But weirdly enough, like, I really love this page. I think it's really charming. More ideas. I really like that one. I keep forgetting I had this painting idea, but I actually think it's really gorgeous. Some flower doodles, that idea again. I like this page. That's really nice. That's nicer than like 90% of my sketchbook doodles, honestly. But just playing with like flowers and motifs and stuff like that. I was thinking about strawberries a lot. I don't know, I like this page a lot too. Me getting frustrated with the layout of our kitchen, even though I can't afford to do anything about it. A vague idea I had. I actually think it's kind of weird and dumb, but whatever. I like this page. I've sketched out this painting and I'm preparing to start it soon. And I really like this idea. I really hope it turns out good because I think it's a really cool idea. I was thinking about flowers, I was thinking about poppies, I was thinking about frogs, but I don't know how I'm gonna work those into the themes I'm going for. And thinking about these like organic shapes, I was gonna put them in the background of this painting, but I honestly don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. I think it's just a little too busy for me. This page is like really empty. I was thinking of like someone with a big like butterfly over their face, like a mask. I don't like that. It seems like a worse version of like the Silence of the Lambs movie poster, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. But it was cool in my head. I was thinking about painting some crows. I still want to paint some crows. I think these would be really cute paintings. Maybe not these, but crows with these kinds of flowers I think would be really, really cute. Someone crying with butterflies drinking their tears, which is a thing that they will do if they have the opportunity. More thumbnails, kind of refining previous thumbnail ideas, thinking about different ideas. I don't want to do this one anymore. This butterfly is kind of pretty, actually. Really want to start this one soon, but I am waiting for the paper to arrive because I need to paint it much bigger than I thought I did. I did the sketch and I was like, oh, it's perfect, and then I realized it was actually too big to fit on the paper. So that's unfortunate. Just a really terrible start to a sketch in pen, so taped that over it. That's an interesting idea, actually. I like that idea. I did it again later and a little bit better, but I do actually like this idea. Another crappy start that I then covered in paint, that I then turned into a castle in the mountains, and I really like this. I think this is really, really fun. Yeah, I really love doing these. I call them my imagination landscapes, and I think it's a really good, like, just stretch of the imagination. And you end up with stuff you never would have painted or drawn otherwise, and in colors you might not have ever used, and so I think they're really, really fun. I do them a couple of different ways, but I call them my imagination landscapes. This was from my first ever life drawing session. They had like a free session, and I initially went in to like look at the art there. They were having like a little art market for the artists in this life drawing group, which is such a cute idea. And so I was looking around, I actually bought a painting there. And then they were like, hey, you're an artist too, you should come to this life drawing session. We're having a free one, and you should totally come and draw. So I did. I did this one, did that one. Did I do another one? Yes, I did another one, because I was just working with pens, so I could only do so much, you know? I couldn't erase, I couldn't add color. I added the color to this later. But yeah, it was actually really, really fun. So I did this one, I did this one. I kind of like scribbled on this page and then gave up because this was distracting me. So I did this later. I like this actually. Like, I honestly, I think this is objectively ugly, but I still like it. I didn't do as good a job with this one as with this one, but I didn't spend as much time on it. I like this one the most. I think I did the best job of capturing like the values and the anatomy and stuff like that. And it was the last one I did, I think. Yeah. But it was a really good time. I really wanted to go back to that, but I didn't end up doing that this year. But I do want to make it a goal that next year I go at least a couple of times, because I do think that that would be just a really good experience. Maybe I could try to go like once a month or something, maybe. I painted this page brown, and then I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and then I came back and drew like a fawn and surrounded it with like these kind of scribbly flowers. It kind of reminds me of that medieval tapestry style, like the Unicorn in Captivity, where it's like very, very flat, and you have all these like perfect flowers that are not overlapping each other. Yeah, I actually kind of like it, although I could have done a better job on the fawn. But I like these ones a lot, where there's like this really muted purpley pink, and then there's the neon pink, and then there's the dark green. I think that's a really cool color combination. I should actually like make a note of that color combination to use in the future, because I think it's really cool. This was working on Minnie Small's book, the exercises in it. I basically just copied what was in the book. I was planning on doing something more my own afterwards, but I had to run an errand and then I forgot about it. I used some of the leftover paint from my palette and did this and kind of played with the granulation, because this didn't really explore that. And I did these just to fill up space, honestly. This was a more final thumbnail for my Embrace painting. This is a silly idea I had. I still think it's cute. I might still do that one, but who knows. I painted these squares, and then I didn't do anything with this page for a really long time, and then I came back and I doodled these like pants. This is actually a pair of pants that you can purchase if you're rich, but I was thinking of maybe making my own. Yeah, I don't know, trying to make it my own, like not copy it exactly, but copy everything I liked about it, and then make it more me. So yeah, I still want to do that though. I just need the funds to make bright red wool pants, because that's the expensive part. And then I had this like blue square, like this one got covered up by these, but this one was completely empty, so I drew a portrait on top with colored pencils. I doodled a cake. I don't know why. And then I did this hand with a butterfly on it. I might paint that, actually. I think I'll have to find a way to make it a little more interesting, though. I don't know, I like this idea. I just think it's a little bit boring, a little bit flat, so I think I need to find a way to make it interesting to me. There's an airplane. Love that. I did this in a video, a fill your sketchbook with me video, or draw with me video, I don't know. But I decided I wanted to paint dragons because I was doing a start your sketchbook with me video, or start my sketchbook with me video, and I did this guy in that, and then half the video disappeared. So I was really miffed about that, so I still wanted to draw some dragons with you guys. And so I did all of these. I think this one's my favorite, but I honestly really like all of them. I honestly, like, I really think that these poses are phenomenal. This one could be better, but it's fine, you know? Like, it's not so horrible that it distracts from the other ones too badly. I also like the layout of this page. Like, this one isn't completely on this side, it kind of overlaps, and then this page is one big thing, and this is one little really contained thing with a background. Like, I just really, really like this page. It's a good page. And then I did this full spread painting that I really like. I think he's adorable and very, very sneaky. The story I decided on is that he stole one of those prize-winning giant pumpkins. You know, they'll have those pumpkin contests for, like, the heaviest pumpkin or whatever. And the story is that he stole it. He stole the prize-winning pumpkin. It's all his now. But I really like this one. I love the colors. I got to use one of my favorite paint palettes that I don't use very often because they're not super light fast, so they're really only for sketchbooks. But I had a lot of fun using it, and these sketchbook pages both turned out really, really nice. And then I used my favorite colored pencils on top of it, Koh-i-Noor magic pencils. This is that little doodle explored a little bit more. I used ballpoint pen and a bunch of highlighters, and wow, this has been closed. It has not had any light exposure, and this one looks pretty okay. Like, it's still highlighter yellow. This one is not. That was a highlighter, and it's like beige. That's really weird. And these ones look fine, so it's not the paper. That is so weird. Alright, that marker is really bad. I mean, it's fine, I didn't spend any money on it, but like, wow. But I do like this idea. I like the pose, I like the hair combined with these really frilly flowers. I think it just feels not like indulgent art to make, although it probably would be, but like, it would embody the feeling of indulgence, if that makes sense. So I really like that. So yeah, I used like a ballpoint pen and a bunch of highlighters and a Sharpie, like a magenta Sharpie. Notes to self, a vague idea that I probably won't do because I actively dislike embroidery. Some doodles I did while I was in a local arts district council meeting. I was invited to talk as a guest artist at the meeting, and then the rest of the meeting didn't really have much to do with me, but I was going to get coffee with someone from the meeting afterwards, so I stuck around and I doodled to keep myself busy. This was one of the things on the table, and so was this, and then this was Mitzi, who was one of the people there who I went and got coffee with. Cool person. Doodle page. I think I wanted to like draw something on a separate piece of paper, like a portrait or something, and glue it in, or paint on it with gouache or like something, but I didn't, so I don't know. Wow, this looks great on camera. It does not look this good in real life. I got this marker for free, and I really like the font. Apparently, a lot of people know what this is. I don't know what that is, so whatever. But I used it to write this, and I think that's very funny because, I don't know, I've got a terrible sense of humor. But I also really liked the color palette of it. It was just like light pink and dark pink and ultramarine blue and really, really bold. And it's a really nice color palette. And I was thinking of like some word stuff. I found a collection of very naughty vintage pins, like a picture of a bunch of them on Pinterest, and I wrote down some of my favorites. I put one of them on a t-shirt for him because it was very much his vibe, and I came back and like colored him in and adjusted things and redid him like a million times. And I think he's alright, but he definitely looks amazing on camera. I like this color palette a lot. I'm planning on using that for a painting. I was thinking of doing like a Halloween video where I did like a Halloween pinup kind of idea. I didn't get around to it, unfortunately, but I do think that this idea is cute. It would have been this character, right? And he obviously has a tail, dressing up as a cat, and then being like, oh no, holding up the cat tail and then his own tail. I don't know. I think it's cute. It's also very silly. I like this idea a lot. Not that this thumbnail shows the idea at all, but I do like the idea that it represents. There's a set of sculptures in my town, and they were discussing maybe having artists repaint them every, 6 months or something. And I really love the idea of painting on those. So I immediately after that meeting, it was during this meeting, as soon as I got home, I was doodling ideas for filling them in and what my themes would be and stuff. And honestly, I think I did a kind of good job for my first few doodles. I mean, if they do this, I don't know if they've decided officially to do it yet, if they've, it's moving at the pace of bureaucracy, but if they ever do that, I will totally be applying for the opportunity because that sounds so incredibly fun. More sewing ideas and knitting ideas and stuff like that. Not really much to it. I do think that these drawings are really cute though. Yeah, no, just thinking in my sketchbook. This was basically all the planning I did for the bird paintings I did. The 4 bird paintings, so they all point towards the corner. That was initially going to be done on watercolor canvas because I had been given a pack of 4 watercolor canvases, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be so cool to make a set of paintings that all match? And that is a cool idea. But the watercolor canvas, which was labeled watercolor canvas absorbent, was actually canvas hydrophobic. So I didn't use that. I gave them away to someone who does acrylic and oil painting because, oh my god. And I ended up doing those paintings on paper. But it was really annoying because I'd already sketched out all of the birds. I like this pose. I think that's a really cool pose. I should do something with that bird pose because it's nice. This is a pretty random page. I think this bird's really cute. There were some ideas for like a bird in some rose hips. I think that's what those are. A friend of mine's dog sits on this like poof ottoman thing, and I was like, oh my god. She posted a picture of him on Instagram, and I was like, oh my god, he looks like he's sitting on a pumpkin. That's so cute, and it was fall at the time, so I doodled him on a little pumpkin. I was thinking about painting him. I don't know if I'll ever get around to that, but I did doodle him. He's very cute. Working through some color palettes. I tried to make a color palette based off of the first Moomin comic strip book. Like, there's a series of the books that, like, compile the comic strips, right? And all the covers have a different color palette. And so I made one based on that. And it's a nice color palette, actually. Tried to copy a color palette from a product online. Another thumbnail, bird sitting on some fly agaric mushrooms. I think that's a cute idea. Painting idea I have that I still want to do. Haven't done it yet, but I definitely want to do it. Swatching all of my Pentel color pens and noting down which ones I'm missing, because I am missing a couple of those colors. Oh, I meant to buy those when I bought the watercolor paper. Shit. Just realized I forgot to do that. Oh well. That's great. Whatever. But I'm missing a couple of colors because they dried out. Another imagination landscape. This is the other way I do them without any colored pencil, and I just block in the shapes. I really like this one. I think it's really beautiful. I had an idea for a local newspaper, and I doodled it out, but the Port Townsend Pier, spelled like a boat pier, because we're a coastal town. I think it's a cute idea. If I had the time and resources, I absolutely would start a local newspaper, because why not? And then I had these squares, and I did these a lot later. I like the bashful pumpkin. I think it's really cute. I think this is a fun idea, but I think it's a terrible sketch. I love Ghost Ship. I think that's hilarious. I genuinely think this is one of the funniest things I've ever drawn. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but I think that's hilarious. Color palette brainstorming for a potential future project that's on hold because of difficulties someone else is having with someone else. That bird has nothing to do with it, though. I just think it's really cute. We're censoring this page. I tend not to do stuff like this in my sketchbook because I know I'll do sketchbook tours, but I got a little fed up with that, so I doodled this first, and I liked that, and then I did this one bigger. And in this one, I switched which leg was forward and which one was in the back, because I wondered if maybe that would look better. It doesn't, actually. I liked this pose better, but whatever. It's not a big deal. And then I had these rectangles left over, and I filled them with some portraits, and I had this spot, and I painted a wildflower, and I like that a lot. I layered this one a lot. I used pencil and pen and watercolor and colored pencil, and I actually really, really like it. I think it's a really cute piece of art. I really like these trees in the background. I think they're really fun. More thinking about mural, notes to self, like some like self-improvement shit. Love this page. Oh my god. So I was doing like a thumbnail for an idea I had, and then I saw this like awesome gargoyle. I know it's not technically a gargoyle. Gargoyles are specifically the ones that like spout water, but I'm gonna use the word gargoyle because that's the word people know. But it's like a pelican with wings, with a human body, and you can't see it, but it has frog feet and like webbed hands. It's bizarre. And that was the first one I drew, and then I went searching for other ones to draw. I meant to cover this one up because I screwed it up and I don't like it, but yeah, other like medieval stonework things to draw. I like this little owl. Yeah, that was a really fun page, and I tried to like stick to just yellow marker, orange marker, blue ballpoint pen because I thought it looked really good as like a limited palette thing. I did this first. I saw someone else's painting with this color palette, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was just the coolest color palette ever. It was so intense and striking. So I basically just filled in a page with it in kind of the same levels of concentration as were in their painting or their illustration, but this doesn't actually look anything like their painting. And then I did the blob challenge, and I used that highlighter that has faded so dramatically, so I think eventually these blobs will just not exist anymore and we'll just have the doodles. But I did the blob challenge because it's fun to do every once in a while. I think it's actually a really good exercise for, you know, your brain. And I ended up with these. I don't really have a lot to say because they're not that deep. They're just doodles, but I think they're fun. I did a little comic about our cats, or the cats. It's complicated, doesn't matter. I used the other highlighter in this, and it looks fine. So, don't know what's wrong with that one. You can pause if you want to read it. It's pretty cute, but it's also not, like, that deep. Ooh, I did these really towards the end. These were based off of reference pictures. I changed the colors a lot because I was working with leftover paint. So in this one, the grass was originally kind of yellowy green, and then now it's pink, right? Stuff like that. And I really like them. I think they turned out really, really good. I was doing a lot of these in the sketchbook before this one. A lot of stuff like this, and I really want to do more of it. I'll need to pull out my gouache more in order to do this, I think, because I think this style comes really naturally to me when I'm working in gouache, but not as naturally when I'm working in watercolor. I think something about how the colors bleed into each other so aggressively makes this very loose style much less appealing to me in watercolor, but I do really, really enjoy it, so I'd like to do more of this, and more finished work like this. But definitely at least do more of this in my sketchbooks to keep, like, the skills going. But I really like these pages. I think they're really gorgeous. I especially like this one. I did this page, and for this one I sketched in, like, the lightest highlighter color, and then I went over it with the darker ones and with some other markers and a little bit of pen over here, and I was just drawing stuff from Pinterest, like this little bird and this really, really cool lamp, men in kilts, and this guy who looked totally badass, so I had to draw him, just his face. I like that one a lot, actually. I drew the bird again down here in like the silliest little doodle way, and I like that. But I like to do this. I like to use just markers or pens and start with the lightest color as a really loose sketch and then build up to darker colors as I refine it. A really fun way to like not get to erase while still ending up with a interesting and actually like really good looking sketchbook page, because sometimes you draw straight in pen and like it's in the black pen, and that's a great exercise. You will get better really quickly, but at the same time it's like, oh god, so much ugly stuff. I have been obsessed with flower fasciation ever since I found out about it. I think it's the coolest looking thing. I have dozens of pictures of fasciated flowers on Pinterest saved. I love them so much. And I really want to do some paintings of flower fasciation. I think it's so cool. Yeah, I think I need to do something like that in the future. As for this page, I don't know how I feel about it. This like iteration of the idea, I don't know how I feel about it, but it does fill up the page in an interesting way. I was thinking of sticker ideas or patch ideas because I'm really interested in the idea of making lino print patches, like those old school punk patches where it's white ink on black fabric or vice versa or whatever. So I was trying to think of things to put on it, and I was thinking of like things I'm frustrated with or things that I like. So I've got like, thanks I made it, or you can't buy everything, because holy crap, that's the thing that irritates me most online, I think. It's like, where can I buy it? Where can I buy it? About stuff that's like, you clearly can't buy. And it drives me insane. So yeah, I am thinking about making like a sticker or a patch or something of that at some point. And like notes to myself about the ideas and stuff like that. This was an idea for like I don't know, like a Riso poster or something that I could print in like large quantities. But the idea was like a big group of cats looking over a cat and its kitten, saying it takes a village, and then at the bottom I could have like different slogans or whatever, or just little messages. So like, I don't know, the one here is take care of the children in your life, right? But we could do it in like different colors or with like black ink over like a pride rainbow or a trans pride flag or just stuff like that, you know, because that's really important to me. Another one I wanted to do was like keep Halloween alive, because I feel like Halloween's been dying off, and that's such a it's, at least when I was a kid, you know, it was such a magical night, Halloween, because you could wander around late and it was just alive in a way that kids don't really get to be most of the time, and you felt so adventurous and so just free, right? Like, I was such an anxious kid about getting lost or about doing things on my own, but that just disappeared on Halloween, and it was really magical. And I get that a lot of people are like worried about kids' safety, but like lots of people would go out trick-or-treating with their kids and just stay on the sidewalk while the kid went up to the door, so I don't know what the problem is. But yeah, so that, I think that was like the idea that sparked this, but then I had ideas for other things I could do that would have a similar message, and the idea was to print this out in like large volumes and then hang it places, right? Some very naughty thumbnail ideas, so we're changing the tone up dramatically. I love this one. I think this one's adorable. It's got like the blushing pumpkin from before. It's got my little demon character. I think it's so, so cute. And then I have some like ghost ideas that are very cheeky, but I really like them. This one was done with leftover paint again. I really like it, actually. I like I like how I did the red line art on the person, who's like very olive toned and has the green hair, but then I did green line art on the red roses in the background. I think that's really cool. I think I should actually do that in like a finished piece. I think it's a good idea. And I like how I did the eyes. I like that a lot. Oh my god, I've been talking so long. I like drawing houses. It's not that deep. I wanted to draw a bunch of houses. I wanted to draw houses based off of different shapes. Not different shapes, but like different proportions. Like a really tall skinny rectangle, and then like a shorter rectangle, and a really long rectangle, and then I think this one was meant to be like a square plus a roof, but it turned out a little bit tall, so this one is like actually a square with a roof. And I tried to do them in like different styles. And then over here I did a house. I think this is like mostly from my imagination, and I just checked with similar houses to make sure the proportions looked okay, and that the details made some kind of sense. So I think this is mostly just from my imagination. But I like this page. I think it's really, really cool. I really hope I can finish this before my battery dies. Another imagination landscape. I just blobbed on the color, and then much later I went in and turned it into like some trees with a sky in the background and some flowers, and I like it. I think it's really cute. It makes me think of lots of like retro kids cartoon type stuff with like the really round shapes and like the cool, very harmonious colors. I really like this page. I think this one's cute, although I did a very poor excuse for box braids. I don't know, I was being pretty lazy with this page, so the fact that it turned out as good as it did is impressive, because I wasn't as careful as I should have been with making it turn out good. But yeah, I tried to do box braids, but you can't even tell. Ooh, swatching. So I did this for my watercolor palette tour. These are all swatches, and then there's some color mixing here. I'll try to link that in a card or something, if I can be bothered to remember how to do that. And oh my god, we're at the end of the sketchbook. Okay, these are swatches I did ages and ages ago in the sketchbook. I accidentally touched the writing, which makes me really, really sad. I didn't know it was water soluble, but I was still trying not to get it wet. This book was hand-bound by John Hanson, it looks like it says. And then this is what I did for my end of the sketchbook page, right onto the back cover. And I really like this. As you can tell, I was in a really Christmassy mood when I did this page, because coming up on the holidays for me, yeah, I really, really like it. I could have done a better job with the bird feet, but other than that, I think it's really, really cute. I think this is probably one of my better the end pages, to be honest. But yeah, that is the entire sketchbook. I was like, when is it gonna end? And then it ended all at once. So, alright, thank you so much for watching this tour of Sketchbook 15. If you liked it, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a saucy little comment in the comment section below. Maybe letting me know which page is your favorite. I always find that like such an interesting thing to hear from you guys, because it's almost always different from my favorite page, and so I just think that's really interesting. But yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.